Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, Dezi Koster. Dezi is a Trivedi effect healer who is committed to applying her gift of harnessing, transmitting, and infusing life force energy into living organisms and non-living materials anywhere in the world through her thought intention to transform and optimize the potential of their inherent nature. Dezi's lifelong mission has been to help people obtain optimal health and wellness for themselves as an individual, for their career and business, and for their family and community, and for the environment in which we live. Today, I'm really happy to say that we are in the age of new beginnings, and Dezi is going to talk to us about New Year's resolutions or resolutions and stickability. And I think that's so important, Dezi. So welcome.
Thank you, Tammy. As always, it's an absolute delight to be here. And yes, to me, New Year is a time of new beginning. But at the same time, people have this yearning desire to do new things, to embark upon a new way of being. But what happens is most people start a New Year's resolution, they do it for 1 or 2 days, and then it goes out the window. So I wanted to address how you actually have an intention and you make it stick. So I end up writing a blog about this, and that's what we're going to be chatting about today. To what is it that takes you from just merely an intention to an actual commitment that you follow through, and then use that as a stepping stone for future commitments that will lead to a phenomenal outcome, by the end of the year and, years ahead. So I might just dive in if that's okay.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about it because if you think about it, everybody thinks that, the beginning of the year that they put all this pressure on themselves. Yes. To create this goal or this big plan. But like you say, most people by the end of January, they've already forgotten about what their big plans are. But I think if you actually create a system and have some certain steps in it, that you can actually do something. And I read your blog and I see that you actually give people some really concrete guidance so that they can stick to this and end up with something real and tangible over time. So tell me more about how you do that.
So the very first step is being brutally honest. So this is, we can kid ourselves. It could be, I want to lose 100 pounds. I want to make $1 million. It might be all of these great things, but we have to be realistic. Is this something you absolutely want to do? Are you invested 100%? You will do it no matter what. Because if the honest truth is, I like the idea, but I really am not committed, I really don't want to do it, it's you're not going to get any result, period. So the first thing is you've got to be brutally honest with yourself and decide, okay, do I actually want to do this? Am I willing to do this? And get the clarity about specifically what you want. And you might have a couple of things that you want to make a commitment to. So it needs to be more than just an intention, but it's something that you can commit yourself to for at least a 12-month period. And it might be a lifetime commitment, but that's where you're looking. This is not just a short-term fix. This is about a lifestyle change. So in order to do that, you have to look at, well, what are some of the things? So you can be thinking about, you can break it down to different areas in your life as well. So you can look at, well, what do I want to achieve for my business, finance, career? What do I want to do for me and my health, my fitness, getting into shape, taking care of this amazing vessel that's me? The next one could be, what do I want for my relationships? If you're married or you're going out with somebody, or or it could be your kids or friends, whatever the relationships are, where are they not working so well? And where specifically would you really like to make changes? So they're the kind of the three main areas, and you might have some subdivisions, but you can look at all of those things. And, you know, it could be, I want to get my taxes in before the end of the year and have a massive penalty. So whatever it is, list the different areas where you want to have some resolution, you want to have some change, and then get really honest. Separate the wheat from the chaff, and then look at, okay, yes, I'm willing to be committed. So that's the first step. Then the next step is about making a plan. It's one thing to say, yes, it could be a goal. I want to drop 20 pounds. I had a goal a couple of years ago where it was like drop 20 pounds or drop 10 pounds and reduce my body by 10% body fat. Okay, that's lovely. But how do you do that? So in order to do that, you've got to make a plan. And that plan has to include the key people that are going to help you. So if it's something that you need as having a team to help you, because if you want to get into great shape, you really not, I mean, you can really, most of it you're working yourself, but at the same time, you've got to be looking at, you probably need a personal trainer. You might want somebody that's going to help you with your nutrition. If you don't know, if you're familiar and you're good at this, then map out key people and then look at what you are going to be doing every day, every week in order to execute that plan. And for plans, your plans should be no more than 30 days maximum at a time, because we can map out about 30 days, but after 30 days, it starts getting a little bit too much and we may be overextending. So if you've got a 30-day plan, you can map out, okay, this is what I'm doing every day. So it could be, again, if it's something to do with getting yourself in shape, you might be journaling, this is what I eat every day. So you've got a baseline, a foundation. If you're writing a book, okay, how much writing am I going to be doing every day? Or writing blogs, or if I'm working on a project, what components of the project are you going to be going through and accomplishing on a daily basis? So you do it every day. And then what does the weekly plan look like? What's the ultimate goal of that week? And then are you achieving it? Are you putting in some stop gaps to keep you on track? As you are achieving it, are you rewarding yourself? You know, it's a great thing to always give yourself some rewards and some incentives. So these are some of the great things that you can do. So put that into your plan. Then I always say, have a dream team of people. So list out the people that are going to help you and support you if you're wanting to improve your relationships. So who are the people that you want to improve the relationships with, and what specifically are you going to do? Then the third part of all of this is you've got to be thinking by when. So you've got to set a date. It's one thing to say, I want to be in shape. That's great. But next lifetime, next year, when? So if you set a date, okay, in the next 30 days, I'm going to do A, B, and C. Then you can map it out. Okay, this is the first 30 days, the next 30 days, and depending on how big your goal is. I worked with clients who wanted to, lose anything from 10 pounds to 100 pounds. Well, you're not going to be losing 100 pounds in a week or a month. It's going to take you, to do it really well. It could take you 1 to 2 years. So you've got to be thinking big picture. And again, start setting your dates so that, okay, by this is the day when I'm going to commence my really healthy eating. This is when I'm going to be giving myself rewards. These are the days when I'm working out. These are days when I'm going to be having meetings with my dream team, whatever it might be. So you've got those in place, and then you have to stick to it. So the fourth key to all of this is execution. You can talk about things till the cows come home. But if you don't actually take action, you can have an intention. There's. I remember hearing about this great little, kind of like a little story, and it is, there are 3 birds sitting on a wire, and they want to fly south for the winter. So how many birds are still on the wire? So what's your answer?
3?
Okay, and the answer is yes.
They're still talking about it.
Exactly. A lot of people think if I have an intention, then magically that intention is just going to make something happen. No, you have to take action. If you say that you're going to change your eating, you have to actually change your eating. Otherwise, everything is going to stay the same. If you want to, like today, I went around and I was popped into a number of businesses in order to reintroduce myself to them and then let them know a little bit about what I'm doing so that we have that connection. And then they, with one of the businesses, it was like, oh yeah, I remember you because I popped in and chatted with the business owner last year. So, but if I'd not done that, would I ever have that connection? And the answer is no. So in order to be able to advance, you must take action. You have to execute. So be thinking about when you're going to be executing, how you're going to be executing, and then you actually have to do it. The whole thing about having an outcome is a bag of money. A lot of people say, well, I want to increase my revenue. I want to double what I'm making now. That's lovely. But if you think that sitting meditating is going to, you're sitting there, I'm thinking about making the money, I'm thinking about making the money. I've never met anybody ever in my entire life that a bag of money fell down, landed on their head, and there was $1 million. It doesn't happen that way. So in order to get the outcome, you've got to do all of the action steps. And part of your plan is mapping out what are those action steps. And if you're not getting the result you want, then go back and have a look at your plan. What else did you need to do? If you don't follow up with your clients, a lot of people think, okay, I call that client once, and then they never hear from that client again. Well, if you might, like one of my mentors said to me, you follow up until you get the outcome. If you're not getting the outcome, if you have to follow up with somebody 10 times, if you have to follow up with somebody for a year, I went with an amazing business project that I worked on many years ago. I followed up with one of our amazing speakers for an entire year. I followed up with his team because initially I spoke to one part of his team and then that team left and a new team came in. So I spoke to his people and then the new people's people. I mean, it sounds kind of cliche, but I followed through. I kept on following through. It took an entire year, but then that person actually became part of our project. So it's got to be whatever it takes. So don't just give up. That's one of the biggest things that I find for people is when they have a goal, for a lot of people, they give up. I've got a friend of mine that's been staying here with me. And so we've been chatting about some of the business things that he's working on. And he has had a tendency in his life, if something doesn't work the first time he does it, that's it. That's it. He doesn't have any follow through. So the final step of this is follow through. Regardless if you don't get the outcome you want the first time, it doesn't matter. Failure is part of success. If you think about the electric light bulb, if Thomas Edison had not gone through 10,000 different incarnations of making that filament and that light bulb, we'd all be sitting here in the dark right now. So if it takes 10,000 goes, it takes 10,000 goes. Pace yourself. Realize that, whatever it takes is what it's going to take. You're not going to lose 100 pounds in a week. It could, like I said, could take 12 months. It could take you 2 years. Get yourself an accountability buddy. Somebody that if you fall off the wagon, it's like, oh my God, I'm sitting here and I'm eating 500 chocolates. And you call up your friend and they go, what are you doing? Come on, we're going for a workout instead. Or it could be that I don't feel like writing that blog. I don't feel like recording that video. I don't feel like, I don't feel like having that business meeting. I don't feel like going and talking those businesses. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like it. That's irrelevant. This is not about what you feel like. The only way that you're going to have the success and what you're looking for as your ultimate outcome is you must have follow through. And if you do that, and then you look every week, reevaluate, every month, reevaluate, every quarter, reevaluate, so that you keep looking back. Where are you now from when you started? And what you'll find is when you do this on a regular basis, you will be astounded at how far you've come from when you first started. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell of how you make something stick.
I think that it's really interesting because I've been on the good old trying to lose weight path, and what I discovered is, boy, I know how to gain weight. I know how to do it, and I can do it. Like, you want to gain a lot of weight fast? Ask me. But what I discovered is that losing weight, it's very frustrating because you eat healthy, you count the calories, you eat the right diet, you do everything. And of course, you see those magazines and they say, lose 30 pounds in 7 days. So you're bombarded with all of these fad diets and all these things. And the numbers are inflated, and they'll have someone on the cover said, oh, I lost like 100 pounds in 3 months or something ridiculous like that. And reality is like I, doing everything, and after a month, it was like I lost 5 pounds. And I'm like, is that all? I mean, it's very difficult, and you're absolutely right. You have to have that path and track it, because what I discovered about myself is and I'm sure it's not just me, but we have a tendency to eat like probably 2, 3, 4 times as much as what we should be eating in a day, because our portion controlling, if you think about it, everywhere we go, it's, would you like to supersize that?
God, yes.
We went from a little teeny 4-ounce cup of soda in the 70s, when I was a teenager, to a 32 ounce. So our perceptions of things are off by everything. And then, of course, you drink the diet pop with the French
poison. Yeah, with all the poison in it, yes.
People don't get it. So I wanted to ask you about expectations, because I find that expectations can hinder and hurt you, because for example, my son and I were out looking at furniture the other day, and we were laughing because, they have this furniture is like is in a budget, and this furniture is more expensive. Well, of course, which furniture do you like? It's the stuff
expensive, of course.
Really good taste, because it's made better. It's better. When you sit in it, it feels better. But our expectations for sticking to our goals, can you talk a little bit about
of course,
these overinflated expectations of what good is or what success is?
Yeah. Expectations, while it's good to have a goal, it's important not to get stuck in what you expect. Especially, my background is because I've got a background as a personal trainer and alternative medicine and everything. So weight loss, healthy weight loss, you have to look at what is realistic. For somebody to say they lost 100 pounds in a month or 2 months, unless they cut off both their legs, it's not happening. That's just, it's simply not. Or they've had some massive, if you lose more than a certain percentage of your body weight, your body goes into shock and you can die. So that's just what is. You've got to look at what is realistic. A healthy weight loss, and you may lose a little bit more than this, but a healthy weight loss is roughly about 2 pounds per week. That's just it. And if you do that, first of all, your body is not struggling, you're not tired, you're not fatigued. So you have to look at what is realistic, and then also realize that some months you might plateau. If you're going to go into a plateau, then you have to work with somebody who knows what they're doing, because our body or our results don't lie. You know, if we look at statistics, if we look at the numbers, you might say, okay, I want to improve my social media. I want to get 5,000 followers. I want 1 million followers, you know, whatever you might have. You can artificially inflate. You can, you know, if you're a celebrity, yes, you can do that. Or if you get a company to come in, they can buy, you can do all that type of thing. But if you want something that's organic, that's going to give you a long-term realistic result, you have to get an idea of what is realistic first. What does realistic look like? Then you have to look at what's going to help me get there, and who truly are the experts that can help me. So here's an example. When I was, and I think I may have chatted with you about this before, when I originally said, this was around 2012, 2013, I was going to be doing a big event where I was going to be in a very skimpy outfit. And the idea was, this was an event where you got up and speak or sang. Some people appeared, they were naked, or they're in a costume. So I made myself this great little costume. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to appear on stage in front of several hundred people in this little outfit, I want to look good. So I had a time frame. So I knew it had to be within, you know, like 10 months. And then I said, okay, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to work out. So I was working out, and in the first month or two, I mean, I was working religiously 5 days a week, and I was hardcore. But at the end of 2 or 3 months, I lost 2 pounds. And I went, how is this possible? So what was happening was, I realized, I sat one day and I thought, okay, what's wrong with this picture? And my trainer was very specifically said, you need to change what you're eating, as in you need to eat more. And I, at that stage, it had been maybe about a year or so after my life partner had passed away. So eating, sometimes I ate a day, once a day, sometimes twice a day. Sometimes I didn't eat because I was still dealing with all the grief. And as I was sitting there, I thought, what's wrong with this picture? And I realized I'm not feeding myself, which is exactly what was happening, even though I didn't have any appetite. So I went, what if my trainer was right? Light bulb went off, and I started eating 5 meals a day. Not big meals, but you're talking about portion size, because our stomach is the size of our fist. That's it. So that's, you know, people go, oh, my stomach is this big. No, it's not. It's this big. So if you look at the size of your fist, that's what you should be consuming. So eating 5 times a day really helped with metabolism. And it was less than 3 months, I dropped 20 pounds and I dropped 10% body fat. Just like that. It fell off. So that's the thing. You have to know, you have to have somebody who's an expert. And my trainer, you know, he was brilliant as far as the training. And then I designed my eating program, and then that was it. It just, and then I've been, you know, I've maintained a really good shape pretty much since then by maintaining what I did without having to work out so much, or working out very little. So once you've got somebody who's an expert in their field that says, okay, if you follow this plan, you're going to get this result. Follow the plan. Follow the plan. If they're in amazing shape, and they're very fit, it might be because they know what they're doing. If you want to be making a lot of money, Warren Buffett has a really good idea about making lots of money in business. Richard Branson has got a really good idea. So if we are looking at these people, they are the ones to follow, not somebody that says your next door neighbor or a friend who has no idea. You've got to follow somebody that's an expert. And if they have a plan, follow the plan. And be aware that this is not a quick fix. You're not going to make $1 million overnight, not unless you're already somebody that has, already you've got an amazing foundation, you've got everything in place, and then you've got all the key pieces that you need to do as far as your marketing, massive campaigns. You've got a huge network of people that are going to help support you get your email blasting and all your other social media thing out so that you can generate a lot of money. If you're somebody like Beyonce, who made $250 million from her amazing tour, then yes. Or you're somebody like Lady Gaga, yes, because they're well established. But they didn't start making $1 million when they first started. So you've got to be looking at, you've got to lay down a foundation, you've got to follow a plan. And as far as an expectation, your expectation should be, how can I execute this successfully today? Stick to that. You do that? Great. That's a check. How can I execute this successfully this week? Great. Do that. Check. How am I executing this successfully this month? And then track. You must track your results. If you don't track, you're not going to see from where you started to where you are now. Otherwise, you're just flying in the air. You've got no way of knowing. So track everything. Then you can course correct. So the expectation is, don't be so attached to expectations, but rather the more important thing is keep your eye focused on your goal. Keep your eye focused on the outcome. Don't get worried about the journey. And that's something that Gurji always talks about. We're going to have a journey. Our journey might look like some winding road, guaranteed. There is usually, for us as human beings, it's not a straight line from point A to B. I'd love it to be, but it never is. If you think about, like, for example, with you, Tammy, if you look at where you are today, was it a straight line from when you started, from when you were in your early 20s? No, absolutely not.
Up and down and all around, backwards, forwards.
Sideways. But it's about, exactly. So it's about tracking, course correcting. And if you're not getting the outcome, find somebody who is getting the outcome. And then what are they doing? Learn from them, get them to mentor you. Because the way that we become successful is to be mentored by people that are massively successful in the area that you want to be successful in. If you think about those actors that get paid, $10, $20 million for a movie, and they have to look like a god or they have to look like a goddess, they have a trainer that trains them, they put on a special diet, and they have to go hardcore for about 3 months. The expectation is you do everything I tell you every day. That's your expectation. Follow through, follow through, follow through. Forget about that it might not be happening in a day, but I guarantee at the end of the 3 months, allow yourself a good 3 months to start seeing results. Because particularly like with our body, even our bank account, if you're hemorrhaging cash, unless somebody's putting in a huge financial injection into you, you're not going to stop hemorrhaging cash overnight. But certainly if you put certain things in place, month 1 will be better than you were a month ago. Month 2, you'll be much better. Month 3. So if you're able to plug up the holes by 90% within 3 months, that's phenomenal. And then by the 4-month mark, you might be kind of a break even. So you have to always be thinking big picture. How long is this going to take? And be realistic. And then rather than being attached to the expectation, focus on your outcome. Don't be so bogged down by expectations, because here's the thing with expectations. Expectations, we can have an expectation of this and we come in here and then we can get discouraged. So
gap is too big.
The gap is too big. So if you, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have you shouldn't be thinking about excellence, because absolutely, you should be thinking, okay, this is where I want to go. But this should be a trajectory. So it is, I'm here and I want to be here. but realize that it might be kind of like this over time. And so this is your outcome rather than an expectation that it's going to happen overnight. And then even if you fail, let's say you fall down and, for a month you just eat garbage food, and then you lost 20 pounds and you've gained 10. Okay, fine. What did you learn from it? And then what can you do now instead? Who can help support you so that you don't fall off the wagon like that? And then also put some stop gaps in between. Nobody expects you to eat like a saint necessarily for a 3, 4, 5 month period. Some people are like that. I've been very lucky because if I put my mind that I'm going to eat a particular way or do certain things, I'll do that. But for some people, it's impossible. So eat really great diet, really clean for 5 days. Then 2 days, have your fun days. And what you'll find is, because you're giving yourself that on a regular basis, it's easy. And then it'll work out within your metabolism. And then just make sure you continue to work out, have your treats, your whatever on those days. And it could be, your third day you do it, or the weekend is when you do it. And then on Monday, you back into it again. So that way you don't feel deprived, but you have what you need.
That all makes a lot of sense. And I like all of your different examples because the truth is, like you said, it's our whole life,
Yes.
our health, our wealth, our business, our personal relationships. So we have to have all these different little goals and missions and things to keep moving forward. And just like when you're talking about going up and down, like my weight chart, because they said weigh yourself every day, and well, that is discouraging.
No,
because
never.
your weight fluctuates. Like it can go down and then it'll go up and then it'll go down, and then you can see it's going down more.
Yes.
But it does every day. It's a couple pounds up and down. And I was looking at that and I said, I can't do this. I can't see this because it's discouraging, because I know that I was doing what I was supposed to do. And I even have a friend who they've been working out, and they said, I weigh 15 pounds more now than I did when I started, but you can tell their body is lean because you can see the muscles. And so obviously you can't go by the scale.
No.
And just like what you were saying about bank accounts, it's the same thing. If you're hemorrhaging money, you have to plug up those holes and quit spending it in that way. And then a few months or so, you'll start to see that, I've got money for savings and everything.
Yes.
Well, this is really an interesting talk. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, people think, okay, I'm going to, like you were using example, you bank, unless you're somebody that's trading or you've got particular things in place where you're selling, you're selling a program online or book online, or you're selling some type of product and services online. Yeah, you're going to see something every day. But unless you've got something like that, as far as tracking, you're going to have a tracking mechanism in place. But as far as our body and everything, you never ever weigh yourself every day. That's just ridiculous. At the end of the week, you've got a big picture, and like you said, you've got to look at muscle does weigh more than fat, and that's why you look at the body fat percentage, and then you see how your clothes fit. If you might find that, like you said with your friend, they're 15 pounds heavier, but they might be 10 or 20% less body fat.
Yeah, their body fat went way down, and it's and I could see it because of the firmness and the sleekness, and their body just looks really good. It's like I don't even see any place where you could lose any more fat, because you look so muscular. So Dezi, if somebody wants to talk to you about how to get the stickability in their lives, how can they contact you?
Well, I'm going to mention one more thing, and then I'll do that.
Great.
One of the other things too is doing the Life Force Energy programs. What that does is it plugs us into the divine. It plugs us into the creator, so which kind of underlies who we are. And that really infuses into all areas of our life. What these programs do is the energy is highly, highly intelligent. So it knows the areas of your life where you have your greatest need. And then from there, it starts supporting you. So if it is in business, it'll support there. If it's in your body, health, fitness, it'll support there. If it's in your relationships with your loved ones, it will support you there. And again, it doesn't happen overnight. If you have an expectation, it works like this, it doesn't. But people do start seeing changes pretty much straight away. So the beauty of this energy is, as you have it, and particularly as you do it more and more over time, you find that you get supported more by the intelligence of the energy. You start making better decisions. You start being more focused. You start being more responsible. You start having greater clarity. Just everything that you do starts operating at a higher level. You desire excellence more just automatically. So that's another thing that's really supportive, and that's something that I've found that really helps is doing these programs. So if people want to connect with me more and know more about the stickability, or they want to perhaps learn more about the programs or do one of the programs, then they can contact me directly. So they can call me, and my business number is 707-702-3394, or they can email me directly, Dezi@DeziKoster.com. They can go directly to my website, which is DeziKoster.com, and then they can take a look and have a look around, see things that they like. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to chat with you.
Well, great. And everybody, go to DeziKoster.com and you can read the companion blog posts related to the resolutions and stickability. And that's one of the things I always enjoy about our conversations, is because we always have a blog post that we can go read, and it's all outlined. Everything you've talked about today, you've actually outlined in the blog. So somebody could, make themselves a really nice little guide using blog, because you actually have it outlined exactly how to put together a really solid stickability plan. I like that word, stickability.
I'm sure it's a neologism that I kind of made up. But the thing is, even that sticks in your head. It's like, I want to have accountability. I want stickability. Because the beauty is, when you see the end result, it is so fulfilling. That's the thing. When I ended up doing that event, that I told you, I was totally comfortable being in my skimpy little outfit, and it looked amazing. And that for me was, that was exciting. Not for anybody else. It didn't matter what anybody else thought about the way I looked. The only thing that mattered was I was happy. I was confident in how I looked. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, it's about you. When you feel good, when you have that confidence, it's like you shine with that life force. And then you become like this unstoppable force of nature. So that's what it's about. You want to be unstoppable, then this is what you need to do.
Well, thank you so much, Dezi. And everyone, it's DeziKoster.com. Go check it out. Make a connection with Dezi. This is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.